Hey, Wellspring. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the sermon. We just looked at like a few short verses, but if you aren't punched in the face by these few verses, it's like check your pulse, right? Remember, these verses that we're looking at are just one element of our walk with Jesus. It's not the complete whole picture. We can't take this out of the context of all of Scripture. But what these verses challenged us is in those moments where we feel like our service to God ever has reached that point where we're like, enough already, that at the end of the day, that God is master, we are not, and we serve Him. And there's no limit to that in that industry, to use a completely inappropriate word for that. But in that context, there is no enough. You just do what you're told. And so remember that. Here's what our big thought for these verses is: at your service is our reality. We are always having that attitude when we go into our relationship with God. Hey, at your service, at your service. If you want to go into the Chick-fil-A mantra, my pleasure, and you kind of keep going. And so here's what I challenge you guys to do: is simply this. What is one thing in your walk with Jesus, and if you are human, you have one thing at least that you do not feel like doing, but you know you ought to do. And so maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a text message, maybe it's an invite, maybe it's a conversation at work, maybe it's giving, maybe it's serving. Something that you know you ought to do, but you don't feel like doing. And so my challenge to you is as we look to Him as Master and we say, hey, at your service, I just challenge you to do that thing this week. All right? Peace.